Hi. So apparently everything limits if you can go live now based off of how many followers you don't fucking have. So there went that idea. So whatever. I'm just gonna upload a longer format video to my YouTube channel that I never use. Because I keep trying to write about this, but every time I do, I get really overwhelmed. But I feel like it's important, especially in the wake of people kind of realizing, like, a lot of men aren't shit. Sorry to those that are, but like, so I just wanted to tell a quick story, or quick as I can tell something about my ex-husband, because I feel like people don't understand the really like insidious ways that people can like fuck with your head. So quick backstory. Previous to my ex-husband and I dating, I was with a dude, we'll call him Steven. He was not a good person. He was 22 when he met me when I was 17 on AOL dating. My parents very stupidly let me go meet him to go see a movie, like alone at night. But yeah, so I didn't end up getting murdered by him, but I did end up getting really fucking abused by him. And one of the things that fucked me up the most was, so when I was going to the Art Institute, Steven was originally not going with me. I had my own group of lovely friends that I developed, and one friend in particular who we'll call P. We got really close. P also had a partner, however, so we discussed the fact that we had a huge crush on each other, but it never went further than that discussion. It was just something like, hey, I put this out here so it's not like, it doesn't seem weird, like how I interact with you or don't interact with you sometimes, but on the same page, same wavelength, so it made it easier to just go on about our lives and remain friends. This did not matter to Steven. He ended up enrolling into college with me, figuring out which car belonged to P, and then slimming all four of P's tires, which then led to me really kind of pulling myself away from my friend group to protect them from the crazy that I apparently should have fucking left previous to this, but still continued to, because I was 17. I was a baby. Yeah. So yeah, I blah blah blah. Obviously, I ended up leaving Steven when I finally came to my senses. But yeah, it took him cheating on me with a 17-year-old girl who looked just like me when I was 17, except he was now 25. So yeah, Steven, bad, gross person, bad. So on to my ex-husband. I went to high school with him, so he was not a stranger to me. We were in Japanese 2 class my senior year of high school. I was in that class with a couple of close friends already, and my ex-husband Anthony was also in the class, but he was kind of like alone by himself. And I take issue with that a lot of the times. Some of the closest friends I've made have been people who were just like, chilling by themselves. And I just kind of, hi, you're my friend now. And brought him into the group with us. And we had a lovely year. Unfortunately, during that time is when I started dating my ex, Steven. So I was, I didn't end up dating Anthony. It was very clear that he had a crush on me, and he like left like a little stuffed cat in my locker and stuff, and was always very sweet. Like, but yeah, nothing ever happened because I was dating this stupid older douchebag. But yeah, so eventually when I did come to my senses and break up with Steven, I was kind of like thinking one day, like, I wonder what Anthony's up to. He was always so sweet. Like, it would be nice to date someone now who is, like a sweet, kind individual as opposed to what the fuck I just went through. Um, like, Steven had never hit me, never got to that point. He did try really hard one day to get me to start a fight, but I am not an idiot. Um, but, like, I was very wounded and I was looking for gentleness. um, and I ended up getting I was friends with one of his ex-girlfriends on Facebook, or it was MySpace at the time, actually. Um, fuck, I'm old. Anyway, brain. I got a hold of his ex on MySpace, asked if I could get his number, which she provided. I ended up texting him, and then we started talking, and we were both super pumped. I remember telling him, like, oh my god, why did you get so hot, like, when he had, like, sent me a picture, and, like, it was, like, immediately, like, back to being friends, and we went on our first date, and it was lovely, and he was everything that I had hoped. He was so very sweet and kind to me, and, like, we would go and hang out with, like, my friends and play pool. We would, there was a lot of chain smoking and playing the Warriors and Baldur's Gate, like, and shit, like, when we were just hanging out. And, like, it was a good situation. We basically immediately started living together. And it was great for about, like, a year. By that point, we had moved into an apartment with his brother. And I was not doing well. College and I did not agree with one another. The Art Institute was a horrible place to go. And, it was just awful all around. So I wasn't in the best headspace. When I graduated, I was unemployed for about 6 months, and then eventually had to take a job at a Mercedes dealership on phones because I had a friend who could get me a job, and I just really needed to get out of the apartment and away from the now toxic environment that was brewing. So there's a lot, and I would like to make it very clear that I don't say that I was a perfect angel during me and Anthony's over a decade that we spent together. I did retaliate physically on more than one occasion because I don't know why people think they can just scream in your face over and over again and yell at you and think that, like, you can't react, like it. So yeah, we can go into more detail on my foibles here, but this is not the point. The point is, this one thing should have been my goddamn wake-up call to immediately end this fucking relationship with this fucking man. But so I told him all of my trauma, obviously. Like, he was there when I started dating Steven, so, like, I was like, well, here's what happened during, like, our 3-year relationship after I graduated high school. And, gave him all the trauma, and then, gave him all the trauma about him slitting all of my friends' tires. And when we finally hung out with P, who, mind you, they had so much in common. There is no reason they should not have been friends. Like, they had very, very similar interests, and instead, Anthony immediately went in hating P and one-upping him and making it very uncomfortable for me. Really driving home the fact that, like, he knew that me and P once had a crush on each other, so, like, he was clearly an enemy. And that was when I really started, like, withdrawing from my friend group again, and remained that way for about, like, 9 years. So, yeah. Sometimes people do some really fucked up shit, and then sometimes other people who claim to be nice guys piggyback off of that fucked up shit. So, yay! Anyway, I'm gonna go now because I'm tired of talking about him. Okay, bye.